Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Next Rank YouTube channel with Johnny and Jack. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A with our members. So we've asked our members to post questions in the Next Rank Discord, which you should all join by the way. And we've got a bunch in return, so we're going to try and get through as many of these as we can. If we can't get through them all in this video, we'll make another video to get through the rest of them. But yeah, it's been a while since we've done a members Q&A, so we decided, new year, let's do a new one of these videos. But if you like them, if you guys like these videos, let us know. We can do them more often. And we will prioritize questions from people who have bought the course. So thank you to all of you who have done that. Let's get into the first question here while Jack bangs the ball around in free play. This one's from Bo G. He says, when you're going for resets, he's heard it's better to either let go of drive or tap/hold reverse. Is that something universal, or it's specifically for when you're for specific resets? He says, depending on what type of reset you're going for, or is he just crazy?
No, I actually don't think he is. So I paused this here just so I can kind of show this goal for this question in particular, Johnny, because I do think that holding break, I'll go through this part first, just so we can show this replay now. Holding break on your resets, I don't know if it actually makes a difference, scientifically in the game. I don't know. I can only go off of my personal experience. I actually do enjoy holding break on resets like this one that you're about to see here, where you have to change the angle. So obviously my car is going to the left, the ball's going to the left. I want to flip this back to the right side because that's where the goal is. Perhaps I'm trying to beat a defender that's challenging me from a particular position. And I actually do enjoy holding break on these ones here. I don't know why, Johnny. I think I've always found that it does help. I have no reasoning for why it would. But I do think that when you're trying to get pop resets like the ones you just saw, and where you're trying to kind of change the kind of angle on the ball, I do enjoy holding it slightly. You'll see it in my controller overlay quite a decent amount. Now, do I recommend holding or he said letting go of
drive, yeah.
Drive. Okay, so I think you shouldn't hold drive at all whilst you're in the air at all, because if you guys didn't know, when you drive whilst you're in the air, your car will move forward slightly. There's a lot of high-level players that don't even know this. But yeah, if you hold drive in the air, so if I just jump, I'm not driving on the ground, so that's obviously that part out of the equation. If I hold drive after I jump like this, your wheels will spin and you will move forward. And over time, slow,
yeah,
you'll see... Moving. Oh yeah, I'm going to get to this boost pad, Johnny. There we go. I've gone to the boost pad. So I've driven forward. So you do move, and the same is for reverse. You do move if you hold those buttons in the air. Does it make a difference? I mean, technically, Johnny, if you had a perfect player, I guess they would be holding drive in the air because it makes them slightly quicker. But obviously, humans aren't perfect, and we should prioritize control. Now, someone in my Twitch chat years ago, like 4 or 5 years ago, came into my chat and said, why are you holding drive in the air? Like, you shouldn't do that. It makes you less controlled. And I was like, okay, I don't believe you. I'm just going to try it to make fun of you almost. And I tried it. And I was like, you might be right, actually. And then ever since then, I never hold drive in the air, or I try not to. It's a habit that I have to get out of my game and every now and then. But
do you remember who that is?
No, I have no idea. I can't remember their Twitch chat name at all.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a very good tip, because as soon as I stopped doing it, I felt so much more controlled in the air. Now, whether that's placebo or whether it's true, I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. If you believe something or if it's true, it's going to help you regardless. So I've always recommended since then for everyone to let go of drive in the air, because it's what I personally found useful, and obviously that's all I can go off.
All right, this next question is from Roland. He says, how to deal with the unpredictability of teammates in lower ranks. Then he's highlighted gold 2. One way is to just play super safe and basically never be first man, but that is A, boring, B, only works if others in your team can actually score. I only play ones except with friends or when he's on comms with friends. So yeah, how can he fix this problem?
I mean, a big part of that is, well, you only play with friends. So in comms, I think you're actually almost limiting yourself and your ability to understand how to play with different types of players. I think solo queue is one of the most important things to do if you want to truly improve, because it allows you to play with all types of players. all types of skill levels on the day. You know, if you're playing with similar people all the time, you're just going to get used to those types of players, and then you're not going to be able to understand, you know, the kind of unpredictability of certain teammates at certain moments. Do you get what I'm saying? I do think that if you allow yourself to play with a wider variety of players, you're just going to understand the averages of your rank a little bit better, like the average moment that someone is going to miss the ball, whether it's a particular bounce off a wall that most of the time they're going to miss, so you can position accordingly, or you know, most of the time in a certain rank in this position, the opponent will hit the ball off the wall in offense to center it mid. In certain ranks they won't, they'll go to the backboard instead, and you have to start to understand that. I think allowing yourself to play with a wider variety of players will give you that option. I will say the other thing is gold 2. Honestly, I can give this advice for all ranks, but try to focus on yourself more than your teammates. I understand that you have to try and predict your teammates because you're playing with them, that they're part of the game. But if you can get better yourself mechanically and game sense wise, but especially mechanically at ranks like that, with, you know, solid contacts on the ball, hitting the ball hard consistently, getting power shots, power hits, you know, just clears like this on the bounce. Because realistically, gold 2 is the rank where if you can do that consistently, you will get out of it. That's the thing you should be prioritizing and thinking about the most, rather than trying to predict your teammates. If you focus on yourself, you're going to have more success than trying to focus on multiple people at once, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the helplessness of feeling like your teammates can't ever score is relatable, though. I'm sure that everybody's had that feeling where you're in a ranked game 2s or 3s, and it just feels like your teammates are never going to score a goal. We've all been there, and I'm sure sometimes we've been that teammate to other people without even knowing it. But you just have to be patient. Sometimes you start to think that, well, this session's going badly, so therefore the first minute or 2 minutes I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing from my teammates. This is going to be a loss as well. They're never going to score a goal. They're never going to create a goal. And then you do something stupid. You try to create a goal yourself, and then you're out of position. So sometimes you need to be patient. Sometimes Rocket League can be a game where there's, you know, 5 minutes of 0-0, a 5-minute overtime, no goals happening, and it's just how it is, and that's fine. And sometimes you'll be losing for a long time in the game, and then right at the end of the game you score a bunch and you come back. So you just have to try and not think of it like there is a trend going on between all these different games with different people, and somehow you're cursed and your teammates are the bad ones and they're never going to score. If you just keep centering the ball, like Jack said in Gold 2, like booming the ball, you boom it down one line, cross the other side of the pitch, boom it when it comes that way again. Your teammates are going to score eventually. Maybe they'll miss a couple of open nets along the way. It's fine. You don't need to score with every single chance.
Everyone's going to miss.
Yeah, everybody's going to miss. It's okay.
Yeah, I will say you raised a good point that I was going to say, like, because part of the question was, you know, don't want to play passive. It's boring. I think the issue is as well that it's just like the incorrect way of thinking a little bit. Like, I get what you're saying. It's also, I'm sure, like part joking, but like sometimes playing aggressive isn't playing aggressive. It's playing stupid, right? Like it's
yeah.
And sometimes we don't realize that we're not just playing aggressive. We're just making incorrect decisions. And unfortunately, we're just gonna have to break out that mindset if we truly want to rank up. I mean, you have to pick what you want to do. Do you want to get better at the game, or do you want to have fun with it? You know, you can do both, but if you want to do both, where you're playing really aggressive, having fun with it, you have to make sure you're great mechanically and focus on your own mechanics, because then you can carry, then you can make mistakes, but you're also going to score, you know, twice the amount of goals. So you have to pick your poison almost, right, with which type of player you want to be and how you want to go about improving and ranking up and playing your games.
All right, this next question is from Z-Man. He says, any advice for differences in challenging strategy as first or second man between 2s and 3s? He feels like he doesn't know what to do when he switches between game modes in a play session. So I guess when you're switching from 2s to 3s, whether it's with random teammates or teammates that you're in a Discord call with, which tends to be the case more in 3v3, I think. Switching your mentality as first man, which in 3v3 you have to, or rather in 2v2 you have to be more cautious with, and second man, You know, which in twos you're last man if you're second, but in
Yeah.
threes you're not. So okay, let's talk about those two things separately then. So if you're first man challenging in twos versus threes, do you have any key differences, Jack, that you're looking out for?
Yes. So 3v3 is just twos, but you're allowed to be way more stupid. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
People overthink the differences between threes and twos a lot. There are specific moments where things change, but as an overall thing, as first man challenging in threes, you can send it most of the time in most ranks. When you get to pro level, and high ranked and stuff, there's maybe a few like kind of differences. Like you don't want to just dive in the corners like here.
If both
in
your teammates are
offense.
demoed.
If both your teammates are demoed. But if you're first man and you've got two people behind you, most ranks you can honestly just dive. You still have to be careful with it, obviously, when you get higher, because once you get higher, like in positions like this, they can just take up the wall and they still have control here, right? That's when it's bad. They still have control. But in a lot of ranks, they're not going to have total control of the ball. I know that might sound like stupid advice, but yeah, you can be a little more careless as first man in threes because you have an extra layer behind you. I think people overrate the... So I truly believe, Johnny, like, if you take yourself out as first man in threes, as long as you focus on challenging through the ball, so through the play, and you're going to get a piece of the ball or a piece of the car, that's great, right? And for most levels, that's the best thing you can do. And honestly, for pretty much all levels, it's the best thing you can do. Like, attacking as three players isn't really a thing. I don't know if you agree with me here. That's a very weird thing to say, but attacking as like three players isn't exactly a thing. So if you get taken out of the play and your teammates are in a 3 versus 2, they're not really in a 3 versus 2 because the chances that the third man gets involved from the other team's players, the chance that their third man gets involved in the attack before you get back is really low. So it's a 2 versus 2 for a second, and then it turns into a 3 versus 3 once you get back. Does that make sense? Like that's how I believe it to be. So it's not, you don't really have to worry about the risks too much when you're first man in threes. You obviously still have to try and get a piece of the ball and try and make a decent play. You can't just go, oh well, Jack said I don't have to worry about first man position in three, so I'm just gonna like, I don't know, just go and pogo off their wall in the corner whenever I'm first man and not do anything. Like, that doesn't make sense to do, right? But you can be more careless. In 2v2, you have to think... 2v2, you have to think of it almost as... This is how I think of it. You have to think of it almost as two separate 1v1s. I don't know how to like put this into words, but you have to challenge every ball very, very carefully because you need to make sure the gap behind you is close enough to where your teammate can challenge you straight after. And it's similar to 1v1 because you're just limiting your opponent's options more. You have to think about that more. In threes, you're not really limiting your opponent's options. You're more just kind of forcing... I guess you are, but it's just different. In threes, you be careless. In twos, you have to be really safe. That's all it is. Like, that is seriously all it is. I don't know if that's good advice, but in first man, in threes, dive. In twos, you have to be very careful of your teammate behind you. You need to make sure they're close enough for you to be able to challenge.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say, really, because I think people overthink it. I think that's the main thing. People overthink the difference. There's no difference. You just have to maybe buy a bit more time in twos. The challenge doesn't change. And the challenge doesn't... Johnny, I don't think the challenge really changes in ones. You're just going to be challenging as if you have no teammate behind you, right? Challenges don't change depending on the game mode with how you go about forming the challenge. It's just about the options that you have to cover. In twos and threes, you have more teammates, so you have less options that you need to cover yourself. You've got to realize that your teammate might be covering the backboard, so you can then cover low only, you force high. Things like that. I think people overthink it a little bit, and I think it's almost... They're psyching themselves out. And that's the worst thing you can do. The only bad thing that you have to make sure you're not doing in threes is hesitating, right?
Yeah, don't hesitate.
That's the big thing. So this sounds like it's almost a hesitation issue. We're overthinking a little bit the difference. So I don't know how to challenge. I'm not going to challenge. Oh, actually, I'm a bit late. Now I'm going to challenge. And then you're too late. And then it's not going to do anything.
Yeah. I think the key similarity, you said at the start that twos and threes they're similar but different. But the similarity that you guys who've watched some of our other videos, you'll notice us talking about challenges, and playing the ball in challenges is a key thing you're going to hear a lot. In every single game mode, no matter which one it is, if you're the first man, if you're challenging in ones, if you're challenging as first man in twos, or if you're challenging as first man in threes, you have to play the ball for your teammates in the team modes and for yourself in ones to have any success. Because the only, you can be more careless in threes, totally agree with you there. But if your teammate in threes just pre-jumps to the ceiling to try and, go for a crazy read as first man, I'd be sitting a second man thinking, why? Why would you bother? Like, just go for the ball. Like, you don't need to win it for yourself in twos and threes. You just need to force the opponents to lose control, and then your teammates can get the ball for free.
You know what it is? It's the execution of the challenge doesn't change. Like, you're going to be playing the ball as first man 90% of the time. There's obviously going to be some instances, like everything in Rocket League, where it changes, but 90% of the time you're just going to be playing the ball. It's the timing of what is different between the three game modes. Like, threes, you can do it earlier. Twos, it's obviously slightly later, and then ones, you have to basically have perfect timing because you have no one behind you. And that's just the layers that you have, right? In threes, you have 2 layers behind you, so one of them can be a bit closer, and one of them behind them can be a bit closer. Twos, you only have 1 layer, and then ones, you have 0 layers. So you have to, it's just the timing. The actual challenge does not change. It rarely. Again, like with everything in Rocket League, it's it's never 100%, but it rarely changes the actual execution of the challenge. It's always playing the ball as first man, get a piece of the ball or piece of the car, and then the timing is different between the 3 game modes. You just do it sooner for threes and twos, and then ones as last.
Yeah, I think the final thing on that for me is that if you can quickly play the ball, especially in threes, but this works in twos as well, if you can quickly challenge the ball as first man and get back, like, you can recover immediately as well. If you can go play the ball in a challenge and then keep your momentum and get back straight away, you then enable your teammate to do the same thing, because now you're backing them up. Or maybe you're just challenging again, forcing for your teammate again.
It's actually
if you can be quick with your recoveries, then your teammates have an easier challenge. Because the most difficult challenge is, like Jack said, when you're playing ones or when you're last man. That's the one where you have to be really careful. But if your teammates are getting back quickly, suddenly you're not last man anymore. If you could just stall for them to come back a little bit, now you're not even last. You can force for them, and that's much easier. You just go for the ball. You just make it as easy for your teammates behind you as you can.
That's a really interesting point, because it makes complete sense with how Pro Rocket League has evolved. And you actually said this years ago, Johnny. You kind of predicted this a little bit. I remember, like, it's always just going to get quicker and quicker, which is obvious, but it's going to allow teams, and it has allowed teams, to get more aggressive with their types of challenges that they go for, which makes me think that an easy way to improve your challenges is to actually improve your recoveries, because you can make a challenge become more justified. You can justify a challenge more if you have better recoveries, if that makes sense, because you can get out of it, get back behind your teammate, and allow them to do the same, like Johnny just said. So that's actually a very interesting point, and it's completely off topic, but I think it's very key for you guys to realize that if you can improve your recoveries, your challenges will improve drastically, right? And
your teammates' challenges as well.
Yes, so that's actually really interesting. I don't think I've really thought of it like that, even though it's become very obvious in high-level Rocket League and will be in the future as well.
All right, let's move on to the next question from Henry. He says, if he wants to emulate a playstyle like Daniel's or Was, the counter-attack heavy, shadowing, more defensive, how should he go about that? He sees Daniel especially opting to shadow rather than challenge, and his patient playstyle makes pro lobbies seem easy for him. He feels like one of those 2 playstyles, if done right, can win every game, but if done wrong, can lose by 5 because of the passive nature of the playstyle. One more thing, do certain playstyles lend themselves to more solo play opportunities? So maybe we'll do that one first. That's a bit quicker, but yeah, do certain playstyles lend themselves to more solo play opportunities for you, Jack?
Yes, definitely. Being a defensive, which sounds stupid for most of you watching, because I think it's different, Johnny, because I think when you go through the ranks, if you're a defensive player, most of the things you're going to be doing isn't going to be controllable. You're just going to be booming it. But it does give you the option to control the ball. It's just that they don't know how to. So a lot of the ranks and the defensive players that you guys are going to be seeing going through the ranks, they're not actually going to be getting a lot of solo plays because they're just choosing not to, or they don't know how to use it effectively. But high level, usually I would say the third man on the team is going to have the most solo plays for me, at least, because they're allowed to conserve their boost a little bit more. They don't have to go for as many balls, and usually they're the ones having things forced to them. Now, solo plays can mean to me at pro play as simple as being able to catch a ball. Hang on, this is coming so slowly.
Catch a really awkward one.
Yeah, I know. Catching the ball on the backboard like this and then going out solo. That is a type of solo play. You might not be going out towards goal, but you're still having the ball for an extended period of time where you're able to get multiple touches on it. And that's what I mean by a solo play at high level. Pro level, sorry. I would say, so yes, if you're defensive and you can use it effectively where you're forcing your teammates to go for you and basically hand the ball to you, then yeah, that can lead to more solo play opportunities. You just also know you have to know how to use it and how to conserve your boost and do it at the proper times, because you can't turn everything into a solo play. The best third men in the game are like ones that also understand that and realize at moments, even when you're on high boost, you should just boom the ball, right? To make it awkward, to condition your opponents into thinking that, you're going to sometimes boom a ball. They have to be careful of that. So yeah, I would say so. What was the first part of the question? Ruas, Daniel, how do you emulate that playstyle?
It actually ties in very well, because if that's the kind of players, or the third man defensive playstyles are the ones that are going to get the most solo play opportunities as you get better at the game, then yeah, emulating them right now seems like a good idea.
Yeah, how do you do that? I mean,
yeah, how do you become Ruas or Daniel?
I mean, look, if any of you have the answer, then let me know. But I think.
Well, have you ever done something like that? Have you gone into ranked one day and said, you know what, I'm gonna be really defensive? I know most pros, when they're playing twos, they try to let their teammate challenge for them so they can have those solo play opportunities. But have you ever taken it to the extreme in threes or in twos and said, nah, this is the day where I'm gonna level up defensively, or be the god tier defender, just never concede? Is that mentality ever a thing, or are you just thinking, nah, I just want to go in and miss open nets and make a funny moment for my YouTube video?
Yeah, is that why I look like when I play? I appreciate that. No, I think it might be. I'm just not that type of player. I always have been a very aggressive player in terms of positioning, and I've always been way better at offense than defense. It's just because it's just come way more naturally to me. I don't think you can force things. I think you can improve at things, but I do think that one playstyle comes more naturally to everyone. I do believe that. I still think you can improve at others, but yeah, I've just been always way better at it because I've been an aggressive ones player, Johnny. I think anyway. Do you think? I mean, you've watched a lot of my show matches coming up and stuff. I think I've always been quite an aggressive player, grounded, but wanting to press the opponent more than defend and shadow and stuff. And I think it's an easier style to play, right? I think most of you watching are going to struggle more playing. I mean, it's the hardest playing third man effectively and really effectively. They're the best players in the game for a reason, but it's also the hardest to do, right? All the best players in the game are usually third man, in my opinion. Usually, I mean, you got two right there. Ruas, Daniel, incredible players. It's the hardest thing to do. It is the biggest reward because it allows them to just be the more solid type of players. But do I recommend? You can take parts of the game, just don't try to emulate everything.
Yeah.
You have to take different parts of everyone's game that you like to look at, like to watch. And this sounds stupid, but you should take parts of players' games that you're playing against in ranked that you think are much better than you, even if you're in a similar rank, right? So if you're in Champ 1 and you see a Champ 1 player doing something that you don't normally do, well, that's an indication that they've been here before. They're a better player right now, even if you're in a similar rank. They might have been here longer. They know what they should do to start doing what they're doing. All right, similar for pros. You have to look at everyone that's better than you. Take little parts out of everyone's game. Don't just look at one player. Go, I want to copy this player to a T, because it's just impossible. You're just going to get too obsessed with every type of movement that you're doing, and you're not going to allow yourself to become your own type of player, which is very important to having confidence. You have to become your own player, right? To know what you're good at, to know what you're bad at as well, and to avoid those things, or not avoid them, but maybe understand them and go about them a little bit more carefully.
Yeah.
So, okay, the other answer they have is play ones, right? Like that is a big
True,
part of the
yeah.
answer. To become patient and smart. Even though I'm aggressive, I've always thought I can be patient. I think I'm a smart player. Like and to do that, I do believe most of you will have to play ones. There are anomalies that they didn't have to play a lot of ones to become extremely smart. Vatira, probably the smartest player in the game, and didn't play a lot of ones. And there are, of course, exceptions, but I'm 100% confident in saying this: the average player will benefit so much in their like game sense from playing ones, and their challenges, and their understanding of how to defend certain positions. So yeah, I would say those two things are the tips I'd have for that.
So it's like picking up on specific things, not the
Rocket
whole
League's
play
all about
style
patterns.
altogether.
Yeah.
It's like about the specifics. So maybe take the things you like from take one thing you like from Daniel, one thing you like from Roas.
Yeah.
Try and implement that instead of thinking about the entire playstyle, because it might be too much of a change to learn all at once anyway.
Absolutely.
And it might not even suit you, like I said. So I think I like that, because it's much easier to say, okay, Roas, what's he really good at? He saves his dodge every time he's trying to dodge an air dribble bump. He doesn't double jump. He saves his dodge every time, pretty much, unless it's too high. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start take that from Roas's game. And what does Daniel do? Okay, you even said so yourself in the question. The fake challenges. You like Daniel's fake challenges. You think that leads him to getting a lot of, free balls rather than having to contest for the ball. Yeah, okay, let's take that then. Let's work on timing our fake challenges, dodge and air dribble bumps like Roas, and that's honestly enough. That's like, as far as like taking their play style, that's enough to work on. We don't need to take it any further than that until you're really confident with those two things. Then you can maybe look deeper if those things are working for you. Maybe they don't though. Maybe you're just like, nah, I hate this. I actually just despise these fake challenges. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to like bum rush every ball. Forget fake challenging. Maybe you change your mind, and that's fine. But yeah, I like that, taking the tendencies and playing ones for sure. Definitely agree. Okay, this next question is from Ginger. He says, how to position yourself, or how do you position yourself when the opponents and teammates are not playing to make a goal, but playing to hit the ball and be unpredictable? And then he goes on to give some context here. He says he plays in GC2 to SSL in casual. However, when he goes back to ranked, which he doesn't play often, because of this, I guess he means playing higher level in casual, he can't play with his lower ranked teammates in ranked because he can't read what they're doing. And then when he plays against GC2 or higher, he can calculate again, but with the lower ranks, it's much harder to play against them. It's so weird. So okay, first things first. We don't know Ginger's rank. It says Grand Champ in Discord. He's got the Grand Champ tag, but I don't know if that's his casual rank. We don't know what the rank disparity is here. If it's just like a 1 rank difference, you're GC1 in ranked, and then you're playing against GC2s in casual, that's, pretty close. But if we're talking a massive rank disparity, like in ranked, we're diamond or plat or something, even like champ 1, 2, and we're saying that we can read GC2s, but now we go to ranked and we can't read anybody. That's a big difference of rank. So we don't even need to read anyone. I would say, like if you're used to playing and you can play against GC2s, you don't even need to read anyone in like champ 2 or below. If they're that much lower rated than you, just wait and see what happens. Then just don't win because you're a better player, I'd say. But I don't know if you'd agree with that, Jack.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So right. Okay. So if yeah. Okay. So
if the rank disparity is big, where do we start with there? I think if
it's big, it's
ranked,
not true. If it's big, it's not true. We don't have to like sugarcoat it, right? Like if it's big, you're not reading the GCs like you think you are. You're giving yourself more of like a, oh, they're really good, I shouldn't be reading them. So any type of small read that I do, I'm like reading their minds, right? That's the truth. else, if you're truly reading GCs, well, you wouldn't be plat or diamond, right? You just can't be like it. You can't. It's physically impossible because you would just be that much better than them mechanically. Yeah, like if
Well,
you're,
I'd say that you don't have to. You don't like. See, when I say you don't have to read them, I have some experience with this because I'll sometimes play with like higher rated lobbies, and you know, I'll play in like GC2 or 3 with some of my friends, and you know, the players in those ranks, they do what they are meaning to do more often than players in lower ranks. So there is one element which you could claim they're easier to read in, and sometimes it does feel that way.
no,
However,
but not,
if I then
not
go
that
solo
big of a
queue,
drastic, like,
well, I would say that when I go solo queue, I don't bother reading. I'm just like, nah, these players I can't read anything they're doing. I'm not even gonna bother, because like if I'm in a rank where I'm now so much lower than where I was playing previously, which usually happens at the start of a season. If you're someone who doesn't play at the start of a season and your rank is much lower because of that, this can happen to you. You're like, oh, I need to solo queue to get my rank up to my friends again. Some of you guys could probably relate. But I just don't even bother trying to read anybody. If I feel like that's happening, I'm like, oh, nah, I'm not even going to bother. Sometimes I'm just not. Sometimes I just have a bad read in the game, and I'm thinking, I'm not even going to bother trying to read anyone. I'm just going to like wait and see what happens, and then just play the ball when it's free, because you don't need to read them if you're in a lower rank.
You get what I'm saying, right? Like GC and then plat diamond. That's not. You can't.
Oh yeah, there's a massive gulf. Then no, this is just isn't the problem.
If it's, let's say it's GC2 to Champ 3, I can see that. I could see that. Yeah, it becomes.
Couple hundred points. Don't bother reading. Just wait. Just you'll if you're actually better, you will rank up without even having to read anyone. You only need to read the game when you're against players of close or equal skill to you. Now it becomes much more of a race to every ball and every play, and you have to start reading everything. But if we put Jack in a gold lobby right now, or a plat lobby, or a diamond lobby, or a champ even, anything, you wouldn't try and read anything, would you? You'd just be like, oh, these guys are unreadable. I'm just going to wait and see when they're finished doing whatever they're doing, and then I'm going to take the ball and put it in their net.
Yes.
Easy.
Yeah.
No nonsense. Just going to take the ball and air dribble in the goal.
Yeah.
But you don't have to read anything. So stop trying to read. Or the other aspect to this is, you know, perhaps element of reality check depending on what rank disparity there is here. We might not really be GC2 to SSL level yet. Maybe we can be one day, but that might not be the reason. If we can't, we need to make sure we're not using that as an excuse that will then hold us back. Because if we are using that as an excuse, even though it can be true, it might not be the only reason that we're unable to rank up to the rank we think we should be. We could be making other mistakes as well. So it's good to look out for those, because those are things we can actually control. What we cannot control is our teammates. We shouldn't worry about them as much. We should just worry about what we're doing.
You never want to overrate yourself as a player. Like, in my opinion, you want to go more towards the side of underrating yourself, because it allows you to point out your mistakes more often. If you think you're better than you are, it makes you become delusional about what you're truly bad at, and then you're never going to fix things, if that makes sense. So I would be very careful with the mindset of thinking that you can read players at a higher level, because my understanding of how this game works throughout the years of playing, and obviously I went through all the ranks the same as anyone else, like, that's not a thing. I just don't, I've never truly seen a player that can... Okay, you can read what a player is going to do if you watch, but on the pitch, reacting to them and then responding correctly, it's not a thing. Else you would then be at that level. You would be at that level. If you're responding to what a GC is doing effectively, responding to it, reacting to it, responding to it, well, you're then a GC player, right? That's just how the ranks work. So I don't know if that's a thing. My true advice would be to stop playing casual. Like, if you're really committed to trying to get better at the game, then there's no reason you should be playing casual. As a warm up, as anything, it does not like make sense to me. I don't understand why you would just play ranked for everything, because it gives a more accurate representation of what players are trying to do when they're actually trying to win. And I know that high level casual lobbies, players are actually trying to win, but it's not to the same extent, I don't think, anyway. From what I've seen, it's not the same, like...
Also, the
amount
MMR
of,
is different. Like if you have a higher rated player in casual, sometimes players are very high rated in casual, and they can go in ranked to be high rated in ranked as well. But most of the players who are high rated in casual are not as high rated in ranked because I don't know. It's like Jack said, the games are just easier to win. Nobody's really trying to win in casual.
Yeah, it's not fully serious, is it?
It's casual.
It's casual. Yeah. Like
But
it's fine. It's fine if you enjoy
very
it.
high rank. I think there's less players in the casual playlist. Actually, maybe not. I don't even know anymore because there's so many casual players. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. I agree with Jack. I think like casual, if you're trying to get better, is not the place to be. I think you should be in ranked, free play, training packs. You should mostly be in ranked though. And this whole idea of the reading teammates, it can't be the only thing holding you back. Sometimes you can identify it as something that you are unable to do at the moment, and that's fine. I sometimes do this, and I know a lot of other people who do this as well. You go into ranked or you go into Rocket League, and you're just like, a better way to think about it, and the way that I try to think about it is like, I just can't read the game right now. I can't read my teammates. I can't read my opponents. I'll put it on me instead of saying, like, oh, these players are too bad for me to read them. That's like when whenever I say that, and I do say that sometimes, I know that it's nonsensical. I know that it's rubbish. I'll just say it as kind of like the same.
Everyone says
same
it.
vibe as like when you say unlucky when your teammate missed an open net. You don't really mean that that they were unlucky. You're just saying unlucky for the sake of it because I don't know. It's just something we say. So when somebody scores a goal by making a mistake and you didn't read it because you expected them to not make a mistake, it's absolutely fine to be like, that's so lucky. That guy's so bad that he scored, or he didn't mean to do that. I can't. How am I supposed to read that miss? That's fine. But then you have to immediately just get back to refocus. Don't let that be your only thought when you're playing. It's like, these players are too bad. I can't read them, and that's why I'm hard stuck. That's not helping you. That's just taking it way too far.
It sounds like exactly. You have to blame yourself, but not in a way where it knocks your confidence. Just in a self-critical way, try and learn. That's all it is, right? Like every goal you concede, what did I do wrong? Right, my teammate just turned around from the midfield line and just shot the ball in my net, but what could I have done a bit better, right? I mean, that's an exaggeration, but like you have to try and think of yourself first rather than find alternative reasons for why you conceded it wasn't your fault, because you just get into a mindset of them thinking that you don't do anything wrong. It doesn't allow you to improve, and then you're just going to get stuck, and then you're not going to be able to figure out why you're losing, right? So yeah, just try to, I would say, change the mindset slightly. Like Johnny said, everyone blames certain things. Like I'm the same as like you. Like I have games where I will be in a slightly lower lobby or in a high level lobby, and everyone's just doing God knows what, even me, and I'm just like, bro, there is no way I can read anything that's going on right now.
That doesn't make sense. Yeah,
that will happen, but not every game, right? Averages work out, right? Like averages work out in the end, and it won't be every single game. That's
do you ever have sessions where it happens? Like, do you have a session where you feel like you're not reading the game?
But that's just me.
As well?
But that's
so
like
that's just you. Okay.
That's like.
But okay, so you're saying there will be games where there's teammates who you can't read or opponents who you can't read.
There will be games
but you'll have bad days as well. So this is something that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it is useful to know what to do in that situation. I think it's definitely not every game.
Yeah.
It's definitely not every teammate. If it is, then you're probably the problem. But I always just if I feel like I've got a bad read in the game, or if me and the boys are playing ranked and we are not reading each other at all, we just keep getting in each other's way. We just try and give each other as much space as possible. Just spread out more, because then you don't have to read. You can just react. Because if you're all in one spot, trying to be really fast, playing off of each other's touches play style, or if that's the type of player you are, and you can't read your teammates for whatever reason, of all the reasons we've discussed in this question and answer, then just go a little bit further away. Just give the people that you can't read a little bit more space. Now you don't even have to read them, and if they're actually making mistakes and outplaying you, or making mistakes and putting you in trouble, well, now because you've given them more space in the pitch, you can react to those mistakes accordingly. And it really does. It sounds so simple, but it works amazingly well, especially in the team context. If you all do this, if you're all reading each other really badly on a losing streak, spread out. Don't even try bother reading each other. Just play normal Rocket League, and you'll be amazed at how much easier the game is.
It does make it easier. It makes it more obvious what your teammates and yourself have to do and are doing at the moment.
It's a floor raiser.
Yes,
it's also a ceiling lowerer, but it's a floor raiser.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's also why I don't recommend playing. Like, people ask all the time, like, is the best way of improving, like, playing against my higher level friend or playing with my higher level friend? I just always say no, because, right, so, like, let's say there's a world where this is true and there is a player that can read GCs and they're like champ 1, right? They can read GC2 players really well and they're champ 1. But then when they go back to champ 1, there is just specific things that certain ranks do that you have to take note of and then respond to when you're in that rank that then won't happen in other ranks. Like, better and worse things. So, like, you can't... I don't think you should be changing the level that you're playing every day. You should just be playing in your rank against players of your skill level, because... well, you have to learn how they play. Right? You can't keep switching, learning how a GC plays, and then thinking it's going to make you really a lot better against champs, because it doesn't. It's in champ, specific things will happen that won't happen in champ. Like in champ 1, specific things will happen that won't happen in champ 2, and then maybe once you get to champ 3, well, all of a sudden some things from champ 1 have come back. For some reason it does not make sense, but you have to take note of the habits of players in your rank, because they do change every time, and I know they do. And you can't switch from, you can't go into ranked, play champ 1s, go into your private matches with friends or whatever, or casual matches, play GCs, go back to champ 1s, and then you're going to start covering things that they just don't do there, right? And then I can see why that would be a thing now, but yeah, I just would stop playing casual. That's my true answer to this very long question that we've taken.
Unless if your only thing you want to do in Rocket League is playing casual with your higher
do it,
ranked
'cause
friends,
it's fun.
then
Yeah,
that's fine.
Absolutely.
If that's like all you want to do.
Absolutely.
But it sounds like getting a higher rank is something that's you're
important,
interested in, and that's sort of the the brand that we've got here. So usually
exactly.
That's something people are looking to do when they click on the channel. Then like I said, if you do want to get a higher rank while solo queuing, you need to solo queue. You have to. You can't just go and play higher raid. But yeah, if you only play with players who are much better than you or a little bit better than you all the time, like a couple ranks higher, you're probably going to get better at specifically playing with those players in a higher rank. Then, like Jack said, when you go back to solo queuing, it will be totally useless. Well, not totally, but it'll be mostly useless. And time would have been better spent like at that rank.
Can hurt
if you want to. Yeah, it can. It really can. You can learn, or you can become like maybe, because when you're playing with players who are high rated, then you just have to ball chase a bunch of them. They carry you.
Exactly.
And, if you go back to your rank, suddenly you ball chase a bunch and your teammates don't carry you. You're like, whoa, what's going on here?
You know, I could
usually that works, but no, it doesn't, because you have to do more and you have to be smarter. But yeah, this has been a very long and vague answer. Hopefully it's been helpful.
It has been.
But because we don't know what the actual rank difference is here, we have to be more general with it. So hopefully some of that makes
Interesting
sense
question,
to
though.
you. Yeah, and I'm sure it's something that people can relate to, the more general, the idea. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful to you guys as well. Not just Ginger, although Ginger, good luck with your good luck getting to the rank that you can read. That's going to be a good day.
Okay, guys, unfortunately that will be all for today. I think this is I don't know, like a 45-minute video, Johnny, so
something like that.
Yeah, we spend a long time answering the questions. Let us know if you like that style. People keep coming back, and we always do it, so they must like that that we answer the questions in a very long and thought about way. Hopefully. But guys, if you have enjoyed this style of content, also let us know. We have a lot of other questions from this Q&A that we haven't answered in this video, and we are keen to make a second part. So let us know if you'd like to see that. Let us know if you'd like to see more types of these videos in general, because we can always ask. There's a multitude of questions I'm sure people have, and we can always ask for more. So yeah, let us know in the comments. Check out the course at thenextrank.com if you enjoy our way of thinking about the game and want to learn a little bit more. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.